guys, it's been a long time since the last time I've kept you updated here on my channel. God, yeah, it's been a long time. It's literally almost a year. I know, I'm highly aware of that. I'm so sorry. And God, year of 2022 is such a roller coaster ride for me, and so many things have happened already, and few places I have visited that I've relocated back and forth, and met a lot of new creative individuals that I've encountered from my line of work, and so many lessons I have learned on my adulting phase too, which I am really grateful to look back on today that I'm about to share with you all here on my video. Don't get me wrong, I'm actually editing this video around first week of August 2023. Yeah, almost a year. Sorry, because I do believe that I should indulge a certain moment in my life without the rush of setting up my camera and actively documenting every second of it. To be honest, I still managed to capture these special, good festivities I've encountered because, yeah, they're the ones that I cherish the most. And I thought that maybe whenever I'm about to share it here on my video, those clips on my video, I want it to happen with the right words upon narrating it. So, yeah, here I am. Oh, by the way, for those who are new here, hi, hello, my name is Reese, and Mulberries is the name that I chose for my channel because it came from the color name Mulberry, which is one of my favorite shade of violet color. And Reese is my nickname that embodies the most of who I am. Okay, I actually do a lot, and one of it is that I am a creative career pursuer. I love studying about arts and design. I am still an amateur, so please um, be easy on me. And I love documenting my progress on that part. And honestly, I treated all my journals and camera as my best friend too. So that's why ever since I was in high school, I really do love documenting a lot. So yeah, that's why I really see this channel of mine more as my very own bank of memories. As my quick recap on my last video that I've uploaded last September 2022, which is my last video on my sophomore year in college. That is my favorite so far, by the way. I have mentioned that I'll be spending most of my college break on my work applications and legal documents. College break because, I thought that I'm going to continue on the next academic year. And months later, I'm glad to say it did all work out. No, actually, half of it. Adulting. And before the next academic year starts, here it is. There, I have decided last minute to take a pause for a while on my studies. Yup, you heard it right. I took a gap year on my academics. Okay, let me insert this for a while. I am grateful that my parents allowed me in this kind of decision, and I am highly aware that there's still an existing stigma for a student to take a gap year on college specifically. And yeah, from where I come from, when they heard that I'm about to take a gap year, they really are sad about it. And here's what I thought. Because one, it helped me save financially. Like during that time, I think it was around post-pandemic, and we're still trying to adapt with the face-to-face classes, and on-site attendance. So yeah, it was challenging moment for me when I experienced that, and then we're also still catching up on the financial stability for our daily expenses during that time. So I thought that kind of helped, and also I think tuition fee is kind of pricey, right? So yeah, it was one of the things that gave me a valid reason to take a gap year. And second, during this age range, starting 18 to early 20s, I therefore believe that there's a lot of adulting stuff we have to catch up on. And as for someone who's thriving for stability, as I mentioned earlier, it's gonna be a hectic moment to catch up on legal documents slash adulting documents and working on academics simultaneously. So if you manage it, then good for you. I'm happy for you. But for me, I do believe that I had a hard time to work on that simultaneously. And, during my first encounter on managing my valid ID, um, it kind of took me almost 2 years, I think, before I got mine. I only received my valid ID just this January 2023. But it's fine. It's worth the wait. But at the same time, I managed my medical examination, my NBI clearance or certificate. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's the right term. And also, I've managed my SSS and, other, like, mostly about my adulting stuff, and that is required for work, you know. And yeah, I had a hard time, and it was not that smooth to manage. I'll probably create a different video for that, and I'll also indicate lists of, documents that you could manage as early as possible, and also the links. Anyways, I just wanted to share you that because I know that most individuals still thinks that taking a gap year is a waste of time. But it really depends on how you handle it, okay? And if you feel like you're having a heavy dilemma about it, if in case you don't have anyone to talk about it because other people might see you differently because of it, it's fine. Keep in mind that it's your life, that it's your, goals, career goals, or ambitions that you're working on and thinking about, not other people's impression about it, okay? And just depends on how you handle it. And what helped me is also when I was on my free time back in my second semester in sophomore year. What motivates me the most is creating a year plan, something like that. And I already have a hunch back then that I'm about to take a gap year. So yeah, during my free time, I just listed it down, what I thought that I'm about to do during that year until I already doing that, which is good. It did motivated me and helped me somehow to guide me on what I'm about to do and what next step that I should follow. Okay. I was also sad because I am no longer going to see my existing batchmates during that time. And I still feel kind of sad because I'm no longer gonna be attending the same classes as them. But it's fine. It's because we're still gonna see each other next year, hopefully. But at the same time, we're no longer in the same classes. And I also felt sad because I do love studying a lot, and especially with my preferred course, which is my dream course, that I have to step back, and it just feels like it's the right timing for me to do it on that year specifically because I heard that, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard that it's way more difficult to take a gap year after third year, after junior year, because you should be managing more of your, OJT stuff. But correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm not right about it. But yeah, it just felt like it's the right timing for me to do it after the sophomore year. But it really just depends. After that, I become busy on managing my legal documents, improving my portfolios, never-ending submissions of my work applications, and when I say deep, I say deep researching on what companies to apply on. I was striving to improve on my craft too and designing skills for my portfolio. And finally, I got myself my very first on-site job experience. I am completely thankful that I got accepted because from the environment, it did bring out a part of me that didn't expect that I could do it, that I could be. And I also have met new people that I somehow aligned with, that I could exchange conversations regarding on that career, which is a good thing. And I was glad that I was grouped with fresh graduates that come from other universities too, and they're very welcoming, although I am the youngest in the room. And I've met certain professionals on the tutorial team that I am really inspired to work with. But of course, that doesn't mean everything happens so smoothly and easily. And certain things didn't also happen according to what I have planned. And I really thought that I could relocate near to my workplace during that time. Because that's not how real life works, right? And we never know. Despite the extrinsic opinions that add up to my daily struggles, I could say that I still face my work on-site experience bravely. And other than what I have learned in that environment, slash work environment rather, is that you've gone through things alone, And there's nothing wrong about it because it makes you more strengthened and broad and, open to such knowledgeable insights. And I realized from what I used to doubt so much a lot about myself within that year before I got accepted is that I thought I couldn't make it because I am this introverted individual that is so used to be stuck in her room, and there are also a lot of people during that time that doubt so much on my progress. But it was such a fulfilling moment when I got accepted. Okay, next, I just want to share this. I am also the first person in my family to pursue an arts and design career related, which is indeed pressuring moment for me because it's not that familiar to them, and usually on a typical Asian household, unless you have a fellow relative that works in the creative industry, which you somehow resonate and exchange conversations with, which I don't, they really aren't that fond of that career choice that I pursue at first. And they used to push me to pursue career related on nursing or any medical field because of its huge possibility of earning good benefits and salary. Correct me if I'm wrong. Until I step on my senior high school year, there starts my journey and eagerness on arts and design studies. And I really thank so much my teacher, our major teacher during that time, because he helped me broaden my idea regarding arts and design studies, and it made me realize that arts and design is actually more than to be considered as a hobby. It can be part of your growth or my growth as a person, and also being a creative artist or designer can be a powerful tool in the society or wherever we are because we are held accountable on bringing message to our viewers if it could either inspire them to be a good person, also a useful impact on our way of expression too. So yeah, I do aim to become part of a design studio or firm, and if I get lucky enough, please, hopefully I get to work on an animation studio where first locally based. What's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's what I just keep in mind. But it's always been my dream since I was little, and I always want to venture learning at every aspects of creative or animation industry. And I know it's not gonna be easy, but I do believe that that's what I want to do. That's what I want to achieve until the day I die. Okay, so bottom line, I thought that it was such a great and memorable first work experience for me because as my first time, it's not that bad as someone who aims to be part of a professional creative industry. It's not a bad experience at all. And I gotta admit that it is one of my best first step I've gone through in my career. And although I've been accepting online commissions, digital art, and graphic design, it's still different, of course, and it's an office-based type of job that I have to deal with many people, but it does get me out of my comfort zone, and it's a good thing that I get to adapt to it up until today, and it's such a very useful experience for me, and I'm grateful. If I could, then you could too. Okay, next. The first months of 2023 for me was emotionally, physically overwhelming, and adventurous too, of course. And lastly, intense. Intense because I gave in to those emotions that I have felt from pressure, dehumanizing criticisms from such unrealistic expectations from the outside voices that's not even relevant on my career growth, and which I am forced to follow, that really made me hit myself to the rock bottom, that have caused so much rage in me and voluntarily excluding myself a lot on certain people that I don't want to burden my stuff with. And no matter how hard I tried to be optimistic in such overwhelming situation, as they say, if you'd still stick on a certain environment that expects nothing but the worst in you and discriminates everything you do, you might just waste the rest of your life proving them wrong. And that's such a waste, dude. And it does hinders you big time on grasping to be the best version of yourself when there's no genuine support system at all. It's so easy to just tell someone to be okay on a situation that others have literally no idea what it felt like to be in that overwhelming position. So at the end of it, I have decided to relocate back. But I'm fine and just simply thankful looking back to it, because it helped me open my eyes and made me see or differentiate who can really be there for me on my downfalls and who's eager enough to support me on what I was working on and who are intentionally giving me a hard time when I'm already dealing with a hard time. You know, you probably have been there, are you? But if you don't, good for you. And I realized that I shouldn't be mad at myself right now with how I have handled those difficult moments or difficult times because it's just simply human for us to react on things that was done unfairly and violently, right? But now, I am just simply grateful that I'm no longer part of the situation, no longer part of that life anymore, and grateful that they're no longer part of mine too. And honestly, way more happier realizing that those lessons from disappointments, betrayals, rejections, and lies have simply opened my eyes from people who are actually trustworthy and uplifting during my downfalls, who are unhappy, and who are genuinely happier in times of my small or big achievements in life. And it also helped me welcome those individuals that are actually sincere and genuine towards me. And good news, apart from all of those difficult situations and lessons that I have learned, I also have successfully accomplished most of my adulting documents. After almost 2 years, I finally have my very own valid ID. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, and I could use them on my online art commissions. And I remember looking back that I used to struggle owning any valid ID for my e-wallet just to get verified. So yeah, I think that's just one of the things, and other than my job experience, that I am really just fond of looking back on today, and it makes me smile all the time. And honestly, I think almost everything I have manifested last year, that year plan that I have written on that piece of paper that I still have on my box of memories, they didn't happen according to what date I have set it. But I am still happy that it did happen. I just kind of remind myself sometimes that this sucks that terrible things has to happen to open our eyes, but at least it redirected us into a better position in our life. There's a lot of lessons that I'm still looking up today. So if you resonate to this, hear me out. In adulting, there is no full description guide, although I'm just 21 and turning 22 this year, and I know that there's still a lot of lessons that I'm about to learn that will help me to become a better person. And I figured that also my main competition in life is actually myself. And you may encounter, I may encounter too, a certain condescending individuals out there on my progress or on your progress. But believe when I say, as long as you're not intentionally hurting anyone out of self issues, it's their problem. When they tend to mock or degrade your beliefs and devalues your goals, they should be the one that you should be asking, are you okay? But sometimes, being the bigger person in the room can be indeed emotionally and physically draining. That's why you shouldn't be skeptical building healthy boundaries, because that's what's keeping us stable and somewhat sane, right? Yeah, we all definitely have to figure it out on our own at some point. It is sad and degrading, but at the same time, it is so freeing. And come on, let's not pessimistic about the fact that there are actually other people out there, or probably just close to you, that is celebrating your small achievements too, and that is also eager to help you to achieve your goals in life. And don't forget to reciprocate it too. And I also learned that solitude can be lonely sometimes, but at the same time, it is so empowering. It's not about ego boosting or narcissism intended. It's more like you need to know yourself more without having the noise. And during your alone time, it this reflects the certain thoughts you're tolerating. So recently, I've been dealing a lot of, on my own. I've been dealing a lot of self routine. I felt like I'm more in control, and there are times that it is indeed lonely. But I thought about it as more like a reflection moment, and there are times that it's still triggering, but the thoughts that I am certainly picking to control or like tolerate in my head, I am trying to make it more positive thoughts. But of course, it's not gonna be easy, Like it's not a light switch that you could just like put on the positive thoughts. No, it's not that. So yeah, that's how I deal with, one of the things, being alone. Like it can be good sometimes, but I'm not saying that it's perfectly good. There are times that it's gonna be um triggering, or like the relapse are sometimes are uncontrollable, but it's fine. I get over it, and I think I am way more happier at this point, and somewhat stable, emotionally stable. And we'll never know. And if there are things or certain challenges that's gonna be happening in my life that I'm not familiar with, I'll try to make sure that I'll be able to handle it you know, with those experiences that I have dealt before. And yeah, we'll never know. Que será? What will be, will be. But yeah, before this video ends, I don't want to sound cheesy, but I want you to listen to this. Self healing or prioritizing your needs is not selfish. And aiming for your goals is not selfish. It's not selfish at all, prioritizing your needs, because how will you be able to help other people or those people who are close to you if you couldn't even help yourself, right? So yeah, what you believe in is what you manifest, and it is what becomes the truth in your real situation. So please be gentle, or also be kind to yourself. Okay? So okay, before this video ends, I just want to announce to all of my berries that I'm finally to school. But of course, it doesn't stop me from my adulting responsibilities too. So let's see how this will work out. So see you soon. Love you. Bye.